Welcome one, welcome all to another episode of eXhuming the X-Files here on the Outpost Unknown YouTube channel. My name is Matthew, joined once again by Jeremy,
That's me.
and we have begun our trek through Season 4 of the X-Files. If you're new here, we have like 75 episodes in our back catalog, including our best and worst of season recap, so hit play on that playlist and just catch up with us so you can follow along for the next, 7 seasons of this show.
Yeah.
Crazy how
So
long.
much content.
I know, it's crazy. As with all season finales, season 3 left us with a cliffhanger. Jeremy, do you remember what happened at the end of Talitha Kumi? I think that's what the episode was called.
If I remember right, they meet up with this mysterious guy that's apparently one of the clone alien hybrid people. And right as he's about to tell him some stuff, the dollar store Dolph Lundgren shows up again with his little ice pick to mess everything up.
Yep.
And then they just ended the episode.
Yep, and there's our cliffhanger. We spend a summer commenting about what could possibly happen, how we're Mulder and Scully going to get out of this one, and so far all of the season premieres have been great. And this one, called Herrenvolk, directed by R.W. Goodwin, written by John Chabon and Chris Carter, finishes off the two-parter. So we're going to see: are they going to keep the season premiere excellence rolling, or are we going to have a letdown here? What happens in the prologue?
So we start with some excuse me. We start with some Alberta countryside. You got a telephone repairman is working out in the middle of fucking nowhere all by himself. Looks a lot like a dollar store version of the Bull Dyke rapist from Shawshank.
Oh, jeez.
Sorry.
Okay.
He puts on his belt. He starts climbing a power pole, and then when the worst thing that has ever happened, and I can kind of relate to this because I used to do tower climbing, and wasps have a nasty habit of like building nests on towers. And there's nothing you could really do about it if you don't have aerosol can with you to kill them instantly. You're just like point blank with them. You just get stung until you can get back down the tower and do something about it. So I felt awful for him. But he starts slapping his neck, and then the children of the corn come out.
I thought they were Village of the Damned.
They're all staring at him like they came out of nowhere too. Like he's in the middle of nowhere, Canada, and these 5 kids that are apparently all look exactly like each other. And what does he say? He turns around and he goes, "A bee stung me, eh?" Like it was very Canadian.
Yeah.
And he starts twitching around. You realize he starts dying from this bee sting. I don't know if it's some sort of allergic reaction or something like that, but you should know that as a tower climber, those points, like everything that's on the harness itself, every point, every stress point, every tie down point is supposed to take 5,000 pounds of pressure in order to be allowed to climb in it. So that guy had such a hardcore reaction to that bee sting that he tore that thing apart. And then he falls off. He dies at the bottom, like he's still kind of dying at the bottom of the telephone pole. And these boys just walk up and kind of toe him a little bit, poke him with the toe, and then just wander off into the hills of Alberta, Canada. And then we get the title screen.
Yeah, and the title card on this episode is "Everything Dies" instead of "The Truth Is Out There." I'm going to say I hated this opening. I just hated it. Because I was like, okay, cool. I was super excited to fire this one up. I was like, all right, what's going to happen? I'm ready to see the continuation of that scene from the last episode, and then we just go to this. And I'm like, what is this? Why do I care about this? These Village of the Damned kids look dumb to me. This guy is a horrible actor. They even have that goofy shot when he's falling where it's like he's coming straight towards the camera with like his face as he's falling. And I was like, ugh, this did not get me hyped for this episode at all. I was not impressed with this opening.
with the energy that they went out in last season, no, this was not the right way to start this episode. Not at all.
Yeah, not good. Not
But
starting
then
out season 4 good.
it continues. Yeah. We'll see where it goes from there, huh? Then it cuts back after the title screen to right where we left off at the end of season 3. They're standing there. The Martian hunter gets out of his car. They Mulder and what's his name, Jeremiah. They run off.
Jeremiah.
He vaguely says something to Scully like, "You can't do anything with a gun." Like, okay, sure, but physics still works. Like,
Well,
but she
I
draws on him.
yeah. Yeah, well, I wrote down this comment here. I said, Mulder tells Scully that the bounty hunter does not want to hurt her. And then I say, why? At this point, how would Mulder even know what this alien bounty hunter is going to do to Scully? He just leaves Scully. He's like, don't try to defend yourself. And then she just jumps in front, doesn't fire. She draws her gun, doesn't fire, just steps in front of him and just gets tossed to the side like a rag
Right.
doll.
And another thing is, didn't the last time the two of those characters meet, he put her through a glass table in her hotel room?
Yeah.
Like beat the shit out of her?
Yeah.
Did he also kidnap her?
I don't remember a kidnapping.
No, well, I mean,
He
she
kidnaps her. He
disappeared.
kidnaps her in this episode.
Yeah. No, I can't remember. She got, well, she got quote unquote abducted a couple of
Yeah,
seasons ago, and I can't remember where along the line that happened. But it wasn't the Martian hunter dude, right?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I've got RFK
Um,
brainworms.
so,
Can't remember that far back.
so we have a foot chase through an industrial set they've surely used at least 3 times in the show by now.
It's a
Uh,
long chasing sequence too. It goes on a while.
like at one point it was really lame too. Like at one point Mulder runs into a room and he realizes that somehow the Martian guy got ahead of him, the hunter dude, and he's between them. So Mulder just like weirdly just gives up and walks backwards the way he was going. Then somehow gets in front of him again. But ultimately what happens is Mulder ambushes the alien hunter dude on top of a pile of gravel and stabs him in the neck. And it looks like it puts him down. You get the little green foam that the previous dudes had died from.
Yeah,
Um,
we've been led to
Jerem-
believe that's the only way to kill them.
Jeremiah gets on a boat that he steals. Mulder basically begs him not to leave him alone. He says, "You need to help me. My mother's dying." Scully finds the bounty hunter's body and kind of peeks over a hill yelling Mulder. Mulder doesn't even respond. Just
Yeah, he just leaves her. He just up and leaves her. No real discussion, no conversation, no anything. He leaves her with this
dead
allegedly
body.
dead
Yeah.
bounty hunter.
Yeah.
It's ugh.
He murdered somebody and she'll just clean this up. So she goes back, she checks for a pulse, and the alien bounty hunter thing, whatever he is, wakes up, starts choking her, basically demands that she knows where they're going, and she doesn't have the slightest idea. And then we just kind of forget that she exists for a couple of scenes. Jay starts alluding to this thing called, or Jeremiah starts alluding to this thing called the larger plan. Mulder just wants to drag him back to his mother's, hospital bed in order to do what? I have no idea.
Healer.
But
Because that's what Jeremiah
Jay,
does. Remember at the beginning of the last episode, he healed the people in the shootout. So he wants Jeremiah to heal his mom because his
I
mom's dying.
completely forgot about that. Oh my god, brainworm. Okay, all right, but then Jeremiah is just like, no, that's not going to work. There's going to be an ambush there. They're going to wipe me out. And Mulder is under the impression that they're just not going to kill his mom. Like she's protected or something like that. And Jeremiah has to convince him like they want me so bad. They don't want this larger plan exposed to the world so badly that they're going to use your mom, maybe even kill your mom, in order to make sure that I die. Like, there's no what is it? There's no asset on the table that's not expendable when it comes to ending his life. So he's not going to come anywhere near that.
Right.
However, he is going to take Mulder to see the larger plan in order to expose it, in order to destroy it, whatever that means. And Mulder isn't immediately going along with it. Then he says, "Oh, well, your sister's there too, so you can see that."
Yeah.
And so Mulder just changes his mind. Okay, there you go.
Forget about mom. Gotta go see my sister.
We see that the cigarette smoking man is indeed just sitting in Mulder's mom's hospital room in ambush
Creepy.
with a couple of guys. Like, I think he probably has better things to do than stakeouts at his level. You know, he has guys like Krychek for that shit, but all right, whatever.
Well, see, the thing, what I got from that is that cigarette smoking man, because remember that last episode, he has that conversation with her before she strokes out or whatever, where he's like, we had all those great times back in the day while your husband was out on the lake and all that stuff. I think that cigarette smoking man has some sort of like feelings for her, and he's just creeping on her in that room because I think he genuinely does not want her to like die. I think he's actually concerned because he has feelings for her.
Huh. Okay.
And I think that comes around at the end of this episode too, which
It
we'll get
does,
to.
but it could have just happened earlier, right?
Oh,
If that
sure.
was always his intention, like, okay. But
It could
anyway,
have, yeah.
um, as it turns out, Scully has been sitting in her car at this industrial complex all night long with this hunter dude in the back seat holding her hostage, just waiting for Mulder to call and spill his guts about the
Yeah.
deal. As soon as he does, the hunter gets out of the back seat and just takes off. So Scully just goes from wherever she is immediately back to Skinner's office and finds that they're also trying to track down this Jeremiah guy too, because apparently Jeremiah not only worked at that one Social Security office, but he worked at 5 all across the country with the exact same name and the exact same face. So okay, they're like, well, that's fucking weird. And Scully says, they recover some parts of his hard drive. They find all of these records. They're trying to decode exactly what it means. And for some reason, Scully just grabs the records and says she'll use her particular expertise in order to help them with their part of the investigation. Though, what being a medical doctor has to do with just combing through random lines and file names, I
I
have
thought
no idea.
when she first did that, I thought, oh, we're gonna get the lone gunman. I thought she was gonna take that stuff to them and have them crack it. But
No,
no,
she
she
just
doesn't.
goes back to Mulder's apartment, puts an X in the window, and reads about 3 lines a page before X knocks on the door and comes in and tells him. Well, I should go back during the cigarette smoking man piece. They say exactly what Jeremiah said. We need to use her to bait Mulder back home. We need to give her the impression that that she is in danger, that she's no longer being protected. And as kind of a double whammy, we'll figure out who within our organization is spilling the beans to Scully and Mulder.
Yeah, because that one dude
Um,
shows Cigarette Smoking Man the pictures that were taken. We know from the last episode, X was at Mulder's parents' lake house, whatever, taking photos of the argument that he was having with her. And they're trying to figure out who's actually taking the photos.
and so they put it out there, and as it turns out, it is X. He goes and tells Scully, "You need to tell Mulder that his mom is no longer protected." And he tries to leave, and Scully's like, I'm not gonna tell you or tell him shit unless you give me answers," which I thought was kind of insensitive, But
Look,
I
she
mean,
needed something to do this episode.
she did. And so she shows him the records, and he gives her a clue that it has something to do with what is it? Some vaccine. I can't remember which vaccine it was.
Oh, the
I Yeah,
smallpox vaccine.
smallpox. Like there was some program. Okay, what the records are the Social Security guys were keeping track of human beings that had this particular inoculation that was basically a genetic tag in order to inventory humanity. Every single human being in a record somewhere and marked like a cow, which, that was probably the coolest part of this episode.
100%. I really, really like that whole idea and that concept. I love that scene when Scully is explaining it to Skinner and all those other idiots that are in that room.
Right. And it
Um,
sounds so good, but immediately afterwards, he just marches her out in the hallway and says, "You can't just start telling people dumb shit like that."
yeah,
Like, fuck you, dude.
yeah, it was cool. They call it the Smallpox Eradication Program because SEP, that's what was
Right.
the letters, or whatever.
Yeah, I thought
Yeah, that was
it was
cool.
so good. And her presentation, and even bringing that other scientist that also had that genetic marker in his arm, like, okay, now everybody that's at that table is like, okay, well, test me. Let's do this. Let's figure out what's going on here. But no, they just dismiss the shit out of hand.
Yeah,
So we get back to Mulder and oh boy, their car breaks down 20 miles short of wherever he's taking them. They end up going through a bunch of Albertan fields. They crest a hill, and it's a massive grow up, but they're not growing like pot or poppy or anything fun. And it's completely manned by the five boys that all look like each other, like a bunch of little blonde boys that are all clones, and then Samantha, clones of Mulder's little sister at the age that she disappeared. So he sees this through binoculars, and he just immediately just runs into the center of this area, grabs one of the girls, or just one of the many girls that are out there, like, "Hey, it's me, it's Fox. Do you remember?" And she's just staring at him.
yeah. I put a comment here. David Duchovny does not act very good in this sequence. I did not buy that after all this time. If he's sprinting towards one of these clone girls, uh, he just did not pull off the. This has been like 30 years or 40 years or however long it's been. First time he's seen her, whatever. I didn't buy it. Poor
I
acting.
didn't, and it's a lot in this episode, but gets a response that she's a drone, Mister Mulder. Yeah, she doesn't have the gift of speech. Like, she's just one of many clones that are out here to work these plant fields in order to
It's
feed
like
or
pollen, right?
pollinate
Like,
the
yeah,
bees.
pollen.
Yeah.
And we'll see the bees in the movie coming up. That becomes a big issue in the movie.
And he tells Mulder, it's like, you don't understand. You need to see more to understand. Though what happens after this is, it doesn't tell me anymore. I don't think it tells Mulder anymore, because all he does is take them to where they live at. It's just these kids living in like a glorified trailer park, and they apparently take care of themselves. He says, where are their parents at? And Jeremiah's all like, parenting is a needless waste of energy. So it he does Mulder just decides that he's just gonna pick one of the random girls and just take him with her. Like, this is my sister. All other 80 of you or whatever is out here, you are not my sister, but this one is.
Yeah, it's
And
strange.
Jeremiah's like, no, you can't do that. This isn't your sister. And oh god, he says he's starting to bitch at Jeremiah about explaining things, and he does this little boy thing. Like, he says, "Explain it to me
Yeah,
now," and it was so bad.
yeah.
But then the Martian alien hunter guy shows up in a car, and so Samantha, Mulder, and Jeremiah flee with their gas can to go gas up the car that I don't remember them picking up.
I
But
thought I thought
as
Jeremiah like handed it to him or something like that. Because it
with
doesn't he say like we got to go in where the bees are but you're not like vaccinated against them or something like the bee if the bee stings you you'll die or something. Isn't that why he covers himself with gasoline?
yeah,
Okay.
But they got the gasoline originally to gas up the car. It was just like a throwaway line a couple of scenes ago, maybe 5 minutes ago in the episode, and then all of a sudden they're just standing. They're running away, and one of them just suddenly has a can of gas with them.
Gotcha.
They stop at this bomb shelter door. They open it up, and bees start coming out. For some reason, they need to go into this bomb shelter full of bees. Did they say that they would kill?
No, not that I saw. I was just like, what is the? I had a lot of questions in this episode. Like nothing in this episode seemed to make any sense to me. I'm like, why are they doing this? Why are they making this decision? It just seemed to be, we're just going to go in here with all the bees. That'll be a cool visual. Dump
And
this
it kind
gasoline
of
on them.
was. I mean, when they
Yeah,
walked into the bomb shelter and you had all the honeycombs hanging from the ceiling, that all
yeah,
looked cool.
it did.
But then he gets to the bottom of the stairs after covering himself with gasoline. The other two were immune, apparently, from the bee stings. And he covers himself with gasoline. They're standing at the bottom of the stairs and they're like, is that the only way out? Well, I guess we're just trapped on here. Like, all right, assholes. So, of course, the alien bounty hunter or whatever he is enters the beehive. And as he's walking around looking for them, they shove a wall of bees on top of him and then run out of the bunker. And of course, the hunter dude, not them, just the hunter dude, gets beat. He just starts screaming. I think it's the first time that he's ever actually shown that something was painful to him.
Yeah. Which I don't understand. Like, why wouldn't he be immune to these bees just like the other ones?
I mean, you get maybe he is immune to the spoilers. Maybe he's immune to that, but getting stung by 1,000 bees probably would still suck. You
Then he
know,
should just like run out like they did.
have
Chase
you ever
them.
been covered in bugs?
He's
You
been
just
yeah, I run with my arms flailing.
no, I just scream and hope I die quickly. All right, so and then we get the scene where Scully presents in a scientific way all of that stuff about the marking of human beings, their inventory, and stuff like that. And it is very convincing. It's good science, it's good evidence. And then Skinner drags her out and just like, you can't
Yeah.
fucking tell people shit like that. That doesn't make any fucking sense.
She even has those like they're not really like X-rays, but like those sort of transparent things showing what the actual protein is in her arm and that other scientist's arm, and she's like, "Look, there's your proof." It's great.
Yeah, it wasn't just assumptions. It just wasn't jumping to conclusions Mulder style. Like she had evidence, but no.
Only woman in the room. The men
Uh,
just
uh,
don't respect her.
so Mulder calls. They get away. Mulder calls and says that he has Jeremiah. That he's going to bring him in because a lot of people have a lot of things to ask Jeremiah about. And almost as soon as he hangs up the phone, because conveniently he didn't have a cell phone at this point in time. He's in a phone booth, and his car is parked right next to the phone, like touching the phone booth, just so that the alien hunter can ram his car into their car while Mulder dives out of the way. He gets like,
How did the alien bounty hunter know where they were?
yeah, he's like the Terminator, man. He just doesn't stop. I don't know. He looked in a phone book. I don't know. But he was there, and then he gets to deliver that line like everything dies.
Yeah.
And then because Mulder's like, just kill me. Don't
Oh, I know.
kill that guy.
Let him heal my mom. Kill me. Kill
Kill
me.
me.
And I don't understand, why does the alien bounty hunter not kill Scully when he has the opportunity and not kill Mulder? Well, I guess towards the very end
We find out.
we find out why. But as I'm watching this, I'm like, there's no reason he couldn't have killed Scully. As soon as he found out where Mulder was, why didn't he just snap her neck in that car? Or when the episode starts and he shoves her out of the way, he could have just stabbed her as Mulder went running off with Jeremiah. Uh, like I'm like, why are these decisions are being made writing wise? I don't. There's too many of them were piling up in this episode where I was like rolling my eyes.
Right. And somehow, I mean, Mulder gets thrown over the top of the car and into. I guess did he? Was it the white van that the fucking telecom guy left out in the middle of nowhere?
Yeah, I think
Is
so.
that what he drove? Okay.
Because don't they
He
even
gets
run
knocked out
into
by
that
that.
guy's body at one point randomly? Like earlier in the episode, don't they like run
Yeah.
into the body like
When they're walking through or after
20
the car
miles?
breaks
Yeah.
down, they just happen to cross it, which looked gnarly, by the way. That dude covered in bee stings and covered in bees, it gave me the ugh.
Look
That
cool.
was,
Yeah.
but it was just that was there and it was gone. By the way, who dispatches a guy to go work in the middle of nowhere and then doesn't bother fucking to check up on him for days? Like, yeah, Bill didn't come back from that job.
Good
Maybe he
point.
got shocked to death. Give me a break.
Good point.
But he was just, but okay. So also after Mulder gets knocked out, I think it intimates that the manhunter goes and kills Samantha by stabbing her in the neck with the ice pick, and they do this little shot where they kind of see Jeremiah running away, but he falters like has his leg broken, or well, not even
Yeah.
that. He just kind of trips and falls. Now, in a previous episode, cops shot one of these guys like a bunch of times, and he jumps into water and then just like stayed underwater for like 5 hours,
Mm-hmm.
and then came out of the water and continued doing whatever he was doing. So getting hit in a car but not even on his side was enough to like.
The writing in this episode was substandard.
So as soon as that scene ends, like you don't see what actually happens to Samantha and Jeremiah, but Mulder just shows up at his mom's hospital bed, and he's all like, I couldn't save her. I couldn't do. And I don't know if he's distraught over not saving Samantha or not saving his mom. Or both.
I think he's more distraught about not being able to save his mom because right before when he's on the phone, he's telling Scully like, "Hey, I'm bringing this guy here. Like, there's no more dicking around." He's like, "We're going to that hospital. He's gonna lay hands on my mom, bring her back to life." And I think he's like, "Well, that's over." Now he realizes his mom's dead. He's basically going to the hospital to watch his mom die.
Mulder is whining a bunch that he couldn't protect her. Scully tells him that there's hope. And Scully starts to express that she does believe now because of the things that X told her. Though X didn't really tell her a whole lot.
Yeah.
But she starts to turn into not the skeptic anymore, not the hardcore skeptic. And something about Scully saying those things kind of brings Mulder out of his super mopey, I can't save anybody stuff.
Some
Um,
bad acting from David Duchovny this episode. Wow.
and then we get a cut to the X that Dana Scully left taped in Mulder's window, and for some reason X just shows up at his apartment knowing he's not home. Knocks, opens the door, doesn't see anybody inside, closes the door, walks down to the elevator, and gets fucking shot as soon as the door
Well,
opens.
that's what maybe I missed it. Did he actually close Mulder's door? Because on my notes, he like opens the door, and like before he opens the door, we see that there's movement in Mulder's room, like somebody moves across the screen. I don't know if you could see it.
I did.
Um, and he opens the door. He has like he can sense the force, like the dark side of the force is inside Mulder's apartment, so he backs away. He never actually shuts the door, I don't think. And then he starts walking down the hallway. He keeps turning back to look to see if someone is coming out, Mulder's door to chase him. And I'm like, dude, why wouldn't you have just closed the door? And then you would immediately know, you'd hear if the door opened, because they do this shot where he just keeps turning and looking, turning and looking, turning and looking, and no one's coming out of the apartment. And then boom, elevator. Then he just gets shot. I hated it. I was like, this is so dumb how they kind of set this up.
It was. I mean, even Deep Throat just getting shot at that van, that had some punch, you
Yeah,
know? That was the right way to kill one of these informants. This was. I mean, the reason that he kept looking at the door was so that he could be distracted that when the elevator door opened, he didn't notice somebody standing there with a
yeah,
gun.
because the
So,
writers think we're dumb.
well, we are. Season 4, episode 1. We're still here, baby. So, he X is dying. He's crawling down the hallway. He eventually gets back to Mulder's still open door. Convenient. And he writes in his own blood SRSG on the floor, which means nothing. And he passes away. Like, it actually shows him, expiring. There's no saving him at this point.
So we've had
So,
X since season 2, right? So we've had 2 seasons of X.
yes. Yep.
Rest in peace.
And then, dude, I really didn't like ever at any point in the show. I like Deep Throat.
Yeah, Deep Throat was
X
good.
just X just didn't have any riz. You know what I'm talking about.
X
So,
gonna give it to you.
1 month later, we're at the UN. We're out sitting outside of the special representative to the Secretary General's office, or SRSG. Mulder is asking the gal inside to he wants to see the Secretary General. Why? I don't know. They're not going to see him. But she tells him about the farm in Alberta. Not that he couldn't have just gone there himself, but finds out that they were growing ginseng out there. I have no idea why that is relevant, but they had found the farm. None of the clones were out there. There's no beehives or any evidence that there were bees around. And then for some reason, she hands him a picture of his sister, badly photoshopped in a bunch of different farming positions, and just leaves him at not everything dies.
Yes.
Okay.
So
Then we get
she's a new informant. I will tell you, I completely forgot this character existed, because I think she becomes like the new X going forward. And I was like, I saw her face. I'm like, wait a minute. Oh yeah, that's the person that replaces X as his main go-to. And
oh
it's like,
I still don't recognize her.
oh yeah, she's going to show up in multiple episodes going forward, feeding him intel and information and stuff like that. And
Yep.
I was just like, how forgettable is this character? Apparently incredibly unforgettable. Like, you don't forget Deep Throat, you don't forget X, and this lady, ugh,
Yeah. Well, I mean, she looks good.
no charisma.
No riz. All right. Then we get back. Okay, so then the final scene is we get back to the alien hunter visits the cigarette smoking man in Mulder's mom's room, because he's only ever gone when Mulder is there for whatever reason. Says the hunter's just like, why do you leave Mulder alive? Why is she alive? And he tries to claim that Mulder is he's an important part of the equation.
The alien bounty hunter is us at this point. He's
Right.
asking the questions that we are all asking, like, why are why are these people being left alive?
And in order, or that he basically states to the alien dude hunter that Mulder's mom needs to be kept in play in order to keep Mulder in play. So the alien hunter turns towards mom and heals her with the power of Jesus.
Yep.
And then she wakes up.
Apparently he can't heal the bee stings on his own face, though.
No. Well, I mean, They were kind of pinkish, so they were healing pretty fast. But
I would just lay hands on myself and immediately heal myself from them.
I lay hands on myself all the time. I get you, bro.
Cigarette Smoking Man does say here that Mulder is, I wrote down, quote, is important to the equation. And we're just supposed to roll with it because it makes no sense why Mulder isn't dead by now.
But he's part of the equation.
Exactly. We got to roll with it. What equation? We'll find out 4 seasons from now.
What isn't there an equation? What is the ratings company that reaches out to people and asks what shows are you watching?
Nielsen.
Yeah. So he's part of that equation.
Gotcha. Keep them millions of viewers watching week to week.
Gotta keep him. All right. So that's the end of that episode. What'd you think?
First season premiere I've really disliked. I did not like this episode at all. I was pretty jazzed for the last one and sort of the cliffhanger and like, where's this going? I had kind of pretty much forgotten everything about this episode. Like, this just was not something that stuck in my brain. It was completely forgettable. I think the characters just made stupid decision after stupid decision, splitting Scully up, away from Mulder during this for dumb reasons, and she's sidelined half the episode doing absolutely nothing. There's a lot of X-Files is good when it delivers like cryptic stuff that has a sort of like a tangible like connection to something we have seen before. This felt like it was completely random, brand new stuff that made no sense. Like the bees and these clone children just hanging out, in a barren field harvesting ginseng or whatever they're doing. I was like, what are we doing here? This didn't feel like it connected to anything we had really seen prior. Didn't make any sense to me why the alien bounty hunter magically survives after we were just told the stupid ice pick is the only thing that can kill these things. Even Cigarette Smoking Man last episode was like freaking out trying to find that thing to be able to kill the aliens. And Mulder literally stabs one and he just gets up. Um,
Didn't hit him in the right spot.
oh, God. He should have aimed for the glowing spot.
Yeah, right.
Man, I did not like this episode at all. I thought this was a real bummer to go into season 4 with.
And I agree with you. There are elements about like I don't remember the bee shit at all. So much so that when we watched the movie, which was all about bees, that felt like I was seeing that stuff for the first time. So now,
Interesting.
knowing in the future, knowing now what I didn't know then, this episode makes a little bit more sense. But like when the telco guy got attacked by bees, if there would have been just a brief flash of black oil across his eyes, things would have changed a bit about the episode. Not a lot,
Yeah.
but it would have made it immediately more interesting. Again, but going back to the Scully stuff, the investigation about the tagging, the marking, the inventorying, and how they're doing it, I thought was really good.
Yeah, I
That
agree with
was
that.
it. There was nothing else that was salvageable. And for a season opener, this is not the way to do it. No way.
Yeah, and it's so crazy to me that I have no memory of a season opener of the X Files. As I was watching this, I was like, yeah, my brain just deleted all of it because it was completely uninteresting. Like none of this, I didn't give a shit about anything that was going on in this episode. So yeah, so bummer. We're starting out season 4 on a low, but maybe that just means we're going up from here. Maybe it's
Maybe.
just we're gonna go sky high, shoot to the moon. Also, I think it's even more of a hammer blow because season three was so freaking awesome. Every season we're like, hey, it's getting better and better and better,
Escalating.
and then boom, it's just like we get hit with a dud right out the gate, and you're like, ugh, okay. So yeah, that's our thoughts. I'll leave a comment down below. What did you guys think of Herrenvolk, the season premiere of season 4? Some fun facts about this. The season saw drastic changes to the series' alien mythology. In the premiere episode, Herrenvolk Williams, the actor who played Mulder's informant X, was written out of the show. He said that Chris Carter called me personally and said, "Got good news, and I got bad news. The good news is we're going to bring you up for another episode this week. The bad news is you're going to take a bullet." The writers created a new character, Marita Kovar-Rubius, which is a mouthful of a name. Like, you got Deep Throat, you have X, and then you have Marita Kovar-Rubius. Doesn't work. To function as Mulder's informant, Carter felt it would be, quote, more interesting for Mulder's next contact to be a woman, noting that he wanted there to be some suspicion about whether Mulder would become involved with her romantically. Ugh. Dumb, Chris Carter. Dumb. Stupid. Herrenvolk introduced the killer bees, who would go on to play a larger part in the 1998 film. The appearance of Samantha Mulder, this time as a clone of her from when she was still a little girl, was due to series creator Chris Carter's desire to bring her back. Carter felt Samantha was an important element of the show, referring to her as being part of the lifeblood of the series. Thousands of live bees were used during production, with the understanding that the bees would not sting without a queen present. However, this theory was proved incorrect, and Vanessa Morley, who played Samantha Mulder, was stung during filming. She kept quiet and did not react until the scene had finished filming, leading Spotnitz to call her a trooper. Great. Uh, the cold open for this episode, with multiple cloned boys, was achieved with motion control photography, allowing for 2 children to play all 5 of the clones. Multiple takes were recorded with the boys in different positions, and when the camera controlled by a computer to follow the exact same motions for each take, these could be seamlessly composited together. And I will say, like, the overall effects in this episode look good. I actually like the kind of like the cinematography of the landscapes, and they use a lot of crane shots and stuff. So you could tell like some money had been put into this episode. I just wish that money had gone to a script. That would have been nice. Uh, the episode title comes from the German word for master race. The tagline for this episode is "Everything dies" instead of the usual "The truth is out there." This phrase is uttered by the bounty hunter to Mulder during the episode, and during the production of Herrenvolk, Carter had already begun the pre-production phases of the series' feature film adaptation, which would be released in 1998. And lastly, this is the first episode not to be shot by John S. Bartley, who had moved on to new pastures. The director of photography was Ron Stannett, who was fired midway through the shoot because the producers didn't care for the way he was filming the episode. During this traumatic time, Chris Carter's services were very much needed, but he was in the midst of prepping Millennium. So he was taken away from his X-Files duties, and I feel like the rest of the crew was kind of left to their own devices, maybe rudderless, and we kind of got a lame opener. Any final thoughts about Herrenvolk?
Just just choke it down like we did, and
Choke it.
move on to the next one.
And the next one is interesting. I was actually very excited when I saw the episode 2, because we're going to be talking Home, which is a very, very infamous episode of the X-Files at one point in time. The kids listening to this won't get this, but back in the day, this was actually quote-unquote banned from television after the first airing of it, and they didn't show it on Fox for like 3 or 4 years afterwards, and only on like a Halloween special did they actually show it. Got a lot of blowback from the Karens of the world who watched this and thought, it was horrible and disgusting and awful. I have fond memories of this episode, and I was looking forward for sure to watching this. Do you remember Home by chance? Do you?
Oh yeah, I remember
Okay.
you and I talking about it.
Okay, so hit that like and subscribe, folks, and next week we will talk all about Home. See you then.